We use the product primarily to track our finances. We use it for payables. We use it for financial statements. Um, we create, purchase orders and projects and pay invoices and all that fun stuff. As with most of your users, we were on Sage, and Sage blew up because we were overusing it. And so it addressed our ability to move on to a much more stable platform, as well as the fact that it addressed the self-service aspect of the financial world, allowing our different communities, because we've got communities all over the state of Florida, and they're all very much independent, although they all roll up into us. And so it allows the communities to have much more control over what they do, at least financially, where things are coded and so on and so forth. And so that allows us to be more accurate in our reporting. But going back to what I said a moment ago, it truly allows our communities to really code their own invoices, at least by the way of creating purchase orders first. Many of our people have never used purchase orders before. And so it's been a bit of a challenge training them, but it's a pretty darn easy product to use, Acumatica that is. And as long as our folks understand the different GL codes and so on and so forth, they can do just that. And they provide us with everything we need in order to fold them up into our financial statements. I think the project module is also very easy to use, and because of who we are and what we do a ton of construction work, both in way of new units and refurbishing old units and all of that. And so the project module helps us a lot with control of finances and expenditures and so on and so forth. And uh, I could probably talk for 4 more hours, but you probably heard enough. I think where we've experienced the biggest weakness is with the training of how to use Acumatica. Our people, all many hundreds of them, were simply pointed at different videos and things and said, "You learn it." And I don't know if we're the average or not, but our people have struggled with learning all the different pieces and parts of it. And so that's been a bit of a challenge. Um, I know that Acumatica has a lot of partners that consult with companies like us. We use one of them, and they've helped us a lot because they kind of bridge that gap, which is good. Um, but I'd like to see Acumatica take a bigger role in that training, um, and just be more available to answer questions and things. 10. Well, again, for us, construction. We do a lot of construction. We have a division that just does construction. We own so many different kinds of living facilities. We have life plan facilities and rental facilities. We have something for almost everybody who wants to retire. But we have to keep those units up to code. We have to keep them clean and nice and new. We have to make them very, very, livable and beyond. And so we're constantly working on doing refurbs. And when somebody moves out, we have to do a quick unit turn, meaning we've got to get it ready again for a new resident as quickly as humanly possible so that we can preserve our cash flow and so on and so forth. Uh, so the project tracking mechanism that Acumatica has is really a great way of allowing the construction division to create that project, lay out the task, lay out the cost coding, lay out the budgets, and then track each and every piece of it along the way, making sure that we stick to our budget and so on and so forth. So that's been a big help. Again, the self-service coding for our communities has been a big help, um, because they can put things where they need to. They don't always do it right, but it's the way of the world, I guess. So I guess that's a good start. I was not involved in the selection process. I came on board with Westminster after the selection had already been made, and they realized that they needed somebody who could help them bridge the learning of Acumatica with the teaching of Acumatica. And so that's why I do what I do. So to say that I have enough knowledge of other ERPs, I could not honestly give you an answer to that. I'm sorry. It has allowed us to have a greater grasp, I think, of our financial statements, given that it's a much more reliable product than what we had. It allows us to be more accurate in our coding of expenses, um, because it's moments ago I said that our folks have had a hard time learning it, and they have, but once they grasp it, it really is a better product for them to use, and they realize that. So we've had a lot of positives come out of that. Um, I had no hand in the selection of it, and I couldn't quote you the names of other products, but I'm very happy that we have Acumatica because I think it's a really good product. Well, we've only been aligned with it since July of this past year, and we're still working on the setup. But I think we recognized the value of it pretty early on, just simply from all the research that was done, according to the people that I've spoken with, and we continue to see the value in it. We just need to finish getting it online, and there's also so many more modules I know that we still have to onboard, like the expense module and some other things, and we're going to start connecting to some outside vendors that will help to augment the system as well. So there's still, I think, so much we can do with it, and we're just scratching the surface. Of our partner, we don't really have external customers per se. I mean, everybody that lives in our communities is a customer, but we don't sell products the way that sporting goods stores sell baseball bats. Um, People know where they want to retire, and depending on their own personal resources and so on and so forth, uh, we are a place, we are sought out. We don't seek, if you will. So that's a blessing to us. Internal customers, on the other hand, we of course have many. Again, going back to the hundreds and hundreds of people who will work with us, everybody from dining directors to nurses and people who take care of the retirees that need taking care of, versus those that are just more like cruise directors, giving them things to do and so on and so forth. And by being able to control their own expenditures and their own budgets so much more effectively using Acumatica, it's allowed them much more freedom from having to be micromanaged, which has been huge for us. I'm not going to say that it really meets our industry's needs, because our industry, I mean, our needs are basically have good, solid housing for people that need it. And then we need to have a good, solid accounting system to keep our financial statements. We answer to a board, as do most nonprofits and so forth. So it has met our needs by allowing us to be better at managing our resources. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what we're paying for it. Yes. I wasn't there to hear the sales and marketing pitch. I don't know what their expectations were. I sense that it's been a slower implementation than they had hoped. I think we would, but I can't speak for those people to make that decision. We use a lot of Excel, of course. We're using Felixo as an add-on. We use Profix. Um, Within our world, let's see if we use anything else. I don't can't think of anything else that we currently use. And I would recommend all of them to the extent that I know them. I'm still a little weak with Profix, but I know that our CFO loves it. So therefore, I love it by proxy.